So if we look toward their guidance and margin, ambitious but depending on execution. Management guided for 45 to 50% revenue CAGR. They are talking about CAGR, okay, for next 3 years. So core business only. So hi investors, welcome to today's video. Actually, for long days we were not able to record the video, so sorry for that. And yeah, now we're hopefully gonna continue consistently as early we did. So today we are gonna decode one of the interesting company in defense sector which is aggressively doing capex from last 2 years, and now the capex cycle is almost to complete the stuff. So facility is gonna expand and has been expanded, and now the numbers are being showing in balance sheet and profits. So let's see how the company is moving forward and what's about next about this company. So India is in the middle of structural defense capex cycle, and missiles are moving from development to bulk production. Naval platforms are being modernized, and electronic warfare, anti-drone systems, and indigenous weaponization are no longer optional. They are strategic necessities. And whenever defense spending enters a multi-year capex cycle, and value doesn't get created at the top alone, so it get created in the electronics subsystems and integration layers. The companies that quietly sit inside every missile, radar, and naval systems. One such company is Apollo Microsystems. But Apollo today is not just talking about subsystems anymore. Management is saying something much bigger than it. They were saying like we have evolved from a subsystem supplier to a full-fledged weapon system manufacturer. That's a bold claim. So today let's decode the defense industry opportunities, Apollo positioning, Q3 FY26 performance, capex and capacity expansion, and strategic acquisition of ideal explosive, and growth guidance and risk. And most importantly, is Apollo entering a true scale-up phase, or is the story still ahead of execution? Indigenous push, government policies like Atmanirbhar Bharat, negative import list, higher share of domestic procurement have forced OEMs and DPSUs to source locally. Second, nature of modern welfare. So modern weapons are no longer metal heavy. They are electronics heavy, software driven, and sensors, guidance, and communication intensive. So missiles, drone, EW systems, electronics is where the value sits. So if you look toward their long product cycle, defense electronics has multi-year development cycles, long production runs once approved. So a very high entry barriers. Once a company is qualified, it tends to stay embedded for a decade. This is why defense electronics companies enjoys sticky revenue, high switching cost, and strong operating leverage. So once the production starts, Apollo operates exactly in this layer. So let's move towards company overview. What does Apollo Microsystems do? Apollo Microsystems is engaged in design, development, assembly, and testing of electronics and electromechanical systems for defense and aerospace. Its solutions are used across missile systems, naval welfare, avionics, space and satellites, homeland security. Apollo claims 700 plus onboarded technologies, participation in 150 plus indigenous programs, presence in almost all missiles and naval warfare programs. Clients like they have DRDO, Indian Army and Navy, DSPUs like BEL and BDL, large private players like L&T and Adani, strategic platforms like BrahMos. This is not a niche supplier, this is a deeply embedded defense electronic partner. So if you look towards its Q3 FY26 financial performance, scale is showing up. So Q3 FY26 was Apollo's highest ever quarterly performance. Q3 FY26 YoY growth, if you look, revenue was around 252 crores, which has shown the growth of 70%. Okay, EBITDA was around 50 crores, which has shown the growth of 33%. PAT was around 23 crores, which has shown the growth of 25%. 9 months FY26 financial performance, if you look, then revenue comes around 611 crores, which is up by 53% on YOY basis. If you look towards its EBITDA, 151 crores, so it is up by 61% YOY basis than last year. So PAT comes around for the 9 months was around 71 crores, which is up by 67% YOY basis. EBITDA margin is expanded by 134 BPS. So management clearly linked this growth to execution of existing order book and multiple products moving from development to production. But the real confidence comes from visibility. So from visibility, let's look towards this order book. Visibility is no longer the problem. As of December 2025, consolidated order books comes around 1305 crores. If you sum up, that comes around 1305 crores. Okay, core Apollo business in that order book is around 800 crores, and Ideal Explosive, which is recently acquired company, comes around 500 crores order book in its 1305 crores order book. This is more than 2x of FY25 revenue. And importantly, most of this order is defense, not a commercial. This provides a revenue visibility, execution runway, and scope for operating leverage. If you look toward their strategic shift from subsystems to weapon systems, this is the most important part of this story. Historically, Apollo supplied guidance kits, actuators, electronic subsystems. But now management says we are positioning ourselves as a full weapon system manufacturer. Why does this matter? Because subsystem has limited pricing power. Weapon system commands higher ticket size and integration gives more over margin. So this shift is being embeddable by program entering bulk production, vertical integration through explosive, which brings us to Ideal Explosive, which is their recent acquisition. If we look towards its Ideal Explosive acquisition, strategic but complex, Apollo acquired Ideal Explosive, a former GOCL subsidiary. Why this matters? Because explosives and energetics are critical in missiles, mines, and warheads. Supplier base is limited, demand is rising sharply. Ideal gives Apollo backward integration capabilities in propellants and warheads, control over critical bottleneck, and short-term reality is that Q3 consolidation 45 days added with 50 crores revenue of Ideal Explosive and added 4 crore loss of it. So management guidance is for Q4 FY26 EBITDA break-even for Ideal Explosive, and Q1 FY27 EBITDA and PAT will be positive. So Ideal will dilute margin short term, but strategically raise Apollo's role in the defense value chain. So if you look towards the Apollo's program pipeline where the upside really lies, management highlighted the multiple program nearing inflection. So missile system, QRSAM bulk production phase, Akash, NG, few hundred units are done. Agni series is bulk order which they have. BEL and BDL negotiation is ongoing. If you look towards their naval and underwater system, heavyweight torpedo are bulk production expected. Underwater mines including Morid mine, DAC clearance done. Funding is in place. Potential order book size is around 2,500 crores. Even partial execution here can materially change Apollo's scale. Emerging systems, anti-drone hard kill rockets trial in Q1. Anti-submarine system lab test complete. These are not a concepts. These are interim trials and production decisions. So if you look toward that capex and capacity preparing for scale, not to talk anything, Apollo is investing aggressively. Phase 3 facility has commenced. 150 crores of capex. Additional land acquired, 5 acres allotted by Telangana government. Management says that current capacity can expand to 5 to 6x. With addition of land of 12 to 13x over time. SAP plus Industry 4.0 implemented to monitor machine utilization, improve the productivity and enable the remote customer monitoring. This signals a serious intent to scale, not just a show up or storytelling. So if we look toward their guidance and margin, ambitious but depending on execution. Management guided for 45 to 50% revenue CAGR. They are talking about CAGR, okay, for next 3 years. So core business only. So standalone PAT margin target is around 15%. Important nuances is that margin improves meaningfully only when large scale production order kicks in. So R&D heavy phase keeps COGS evaluated and consolidated margin guidance deferred till ideal stabilize. So if you look toward the risk, you cannot ignore. This is not a risk-free story, of course. Key risk is that DAC approval is not equal to production orders. Okay, ideal integration is complexity. Front-loaded capex is at hiring. Promoter pledge is still being reduced gradually, and defense execution timeline can slip. So Apollo is preparing for scale, but timing is outside management control. So my final verdict, how to think about Apollo is like Apollo Microsystem is no longer just a defense electronic vendor. It's trying to become a missile ecosystem integrator, a naval weapon participant, and a vertically integrated defense manufacturer. The ingredients are falling into the places and order book, capex, program maturity, and policy relevant, but the next leg of value creation depends upon its execution and not through intent. So if production order convert to Apollo scale fast, and if delay persists and margin returns takes time, then this is a high value upside, high upside, and execution sensitive defense story. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like, share, and subscribe the channel. Make the YouTube brother happy, and let's meet in the next video with new interesting company and business decodes.